My first real estate transaction, I can't wait to share this story with you. I got my license in May 2009. It was a difficult time for a lot of people, a lot of bank mediated sales. Banks were, really fire saling a lot of inventory. And back then, I always love when I say back then, I sound so antiquated and old school. But back then, at a lot of the traditional real estate brokerages, they had what was called floor duty, right? So you'd sign up for a few times a month on a calendar. And during that floor duty time, you would sit in the office and really hope and wait for someone to walk in the door and say that they were looking for a realtor to help them buy, sell real estate. Crazy that that's how things actually functioned not that long ago. Well, maybe for some of you, you might feel like 2009 was a long time ago, but for me, it doesn't seem like that long ago. And I remember this couple came in, and keep in mind, I'm a couple of weeks into real estate. I walk up to the front, I'm nervous, like I'm shaking, I'm uneasy, I'm like, whoa. I thought I was gonna have a little bit more time to get ready, to get prepared, to ask questions before I actually had to talk to a client. But all of a sudden I was like, bam, there I am, standing there, brand new, shaky. I had one of those Men's Warehouse suits where you bought one and you got 10 for free. And I was like, hey, can I help you? I'm Chris Lindahl. I'm a real estate professional, and I'd love to show you homes. I remember distinctively saying that. And actually, we're not looking for homes. We saw that there's some land up in one of the cities that we're looking in. And we just wanted to see if you could actually drive up there with us right now and walk the lots. So I agreed. And at the time, it was the brokerage had some of these land listings. So I was able to grab a plat map. For those of you that don't know what a plat map is, a plat map basically lays out where the septic setbacks, all these different things. It was not in city sewer and city water area. And so I drove out to this development, and it was all raw land. It had not been built on yet. And when I get out there, I see the husband's kind of ahead of me, and he's walking around, and I've got this plat map, which no one had ever showed me how to read or review a plat map. So I opened this up, and what I didn't realize at the time, I actually had it upside down. I had it upside down. So I've got this upside down. I'm so nervous. I'm shaking. I mean, you can imagine. I am so nervous. And I'm walking around, and the husband's going the other direction, and I'm going the other way, and I'm walking towards the trees, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what I'm doing. And so I get to the sort of other side of these lots, and I think I'm on the actual other street. I'm on the wrong street as I'm looking at the plat map. He's on the other side, and he's like, hey, he's asking questions about where the setbacks are and things. And I'm looking at this thing, and I'm actually reading it the wrong way. And I think it's right over here. Is what I tell him. He goes, no. He's looking at his copy. He goes, no, it's over here. And I was like, okay, all right. So I follow him over there. And at the time, it was so funny about this is this family had owned a real large commercial construction company. And I knew that he knew that I had no idea what I was doing. And I wasn't trying to mislead him or pretend that I knew what I was doing. I was just simply trying to, read the plat map and try to figure out where we were at. And it was just so different because I'd never been trained or taught how to do it. And so we get over to the right spot, and then we're kind of joking. And I tell him, I'm like, I just break down, and I'm like, I actually don't specialize in land, right? I'm just open and honest with him. I don't actually specialize in land, but I've got people in the office that can support and help you. If you need it, we'd be glad to assist you. And so I remember, as we walked around and he was, looking at everything and trying to figure things out. I remember sitting there going, like, how did I end up in this place doing something that I know nothing about? I had just got done with my 90 hours of real estate classes, which was required in Minnesota. And then you had to take the state test and federal test. I'm like, whoa, like this is a huge opportunity to grow. I have no clue what's happening. And so he finally done looking around, and I'm standing there, and if you ever been in, as you're listening to this, have you ever been in that moment where you're like, gosh, I'm so uncertain about what's happening here. I don't even know what to do. I feel like I'm just stuck. I'm nervous. I'm anxious. Well, that was me. I think you can relate to that. And your first day at a new school, at a new job, in any sort of environment where you're just putting yourself into that uncomfortable position. That was me. And, he looks at me and goes, hey kid, I remember he goes, hey kid, I know that you don't know anything about land. And the way he said it was friendly. It wasn't like condescending. He was like, I know that you don't know anything about land. I was like, that's correct. I don't. He said, but I really like how I showed up at the office. You came up front. He goes, we only had a little bit of time to come out here, and you dropped everything and jumped in your car and led us up here. And I really appreciate that level of commitment and hustle. He's like, I want to buy these lots, and I'll just write a check right now. I'll pay listing price. And then I was like, woo, this is awesome. This is easy. Then I was like, well, how do I write a purchase agreement? And then to come to find out a few hours later, how do I write a land purchase agreement, which is a whole other thing. He said, I'll give you an earnest money check right now if you want to drive back and get everything set up, and we'll come in tomorrow and sign. And so I left, they left, and I'm driving back to the office. I've got the windows down, the music cranked up. It's like one of those, beautiful outside, and have the windows down. And I was like, wow, this is what real estate's all about. It's like, I got a lot to learn. I've got a lot to learn. And it was such an interesting moment in my life because I put myself in a spot where I was really uncomfortable. Now, I went back to the office. I got support from a coworker that helped me put together that land deal, and we closed in a couple of weeks. And I've never let go of that story. And the reason why is because I'm like, what was it about that moment where I was willing to walk up front on floor duty, meet those customers? They said land, I said, let's go. I think a lot of people in the world, when someone tells you something that you're uneasy about or you don't know anything about, you shut down or you backpedal. You're like, ooh, I don't know anything about that. But there was something about that I just said, let's go. And now, speaking from where we're at today and where I'm at personally today, there's been a lot of those moments throughout the years. This just happens to be one of the stories at the beginning of my real estate journey, but I've always said, let's go. And so if you're in a position right now where you're a little uneasy, maybe you're frustrated, maybe you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, maybe there's some challenges going on personally, professionally, I want to challenge you right now to just go. Just go. Who needs you to show up motivated, committed, and ready to go? I believe in you. I know you can do it. And what's interesting is when you step through that uncomfortableness, that's where those growing opportunities really come into play. Now, here's what I know about it. It never feels like you're growing when you're in that moment. So recognize that. Most people right now, with everything going on in the world, you're in a growing season. You're in an uncomfortable state in some shape or form. It could be personally, professionally. It could be industry. It could be the economics that are at play right now. There's something inside of you that you're uncomfortable about right now. My friends, I challenge you, power through. That's where the growing opportunities are. I hope you found this story inspiring and helpful. These types of stories are stories that, I really try to break down and look back to the beginning and just share with you as inspiration. Because I know right now there's a lot of people that are very new to the real estate industry. Across the country, we've seen a record number of people get their real estate license. And I just want to really inspire you and challenge you to push forward in those opportunities right now that you have where things feel uncomfortable. That's where the magic is, my friends. Push forward, get uncomfortable. Years down the road, you're going to look back and you're going to go, that's where it all changed. That's where the magic happened. Thanks for tuning in, my friends. If this was impactful to you and you think that other people that are just starting their journey in real estate, you think that this would be helpful for them, it would be an honor if you would take a screenshot of this podcast, tag me on social media, and tag 3 of your friends that just got their real estate license to listen to this episode in hopes that it helps them break through barriers and really enter that growing season. If you'd love to send me a personal thank you, there's one way to do it more than anything else, and that is please leave a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. And if you'd be so kind, also leave comments as well. I read all of them, and that's my motivation to keep going and to give back to you. I want to share, everything that I've learned along the way, and to do that, you've got to keep me going. So keep tagging me, keep sending me messages, and do whatever you can. I'd love to read them. Thanks for listening, and just power through those moments you have right now. There's greatness on the other side of it.